want people and stakeholders to know and understand what we are doing. It starts with defining a clear goal, identifying target audience to make a compelling message and create actionable timeline. Ethical media communication should always be in line with do no harm humanitarian principle. In terms of communications, it means that photos and stories provided by citizens must be used in a way that they won't cause any harm to the people who provided those stories and photos for us.
A needs assessment is an opportunity to find out what your target audience is caring about or concerned about. Usually, we used to make the conclusions for other people. Different people have the different backgrounds and different priorities. In IDEA Central Asia, we use the participatory approach. What does it mean? It means we are inviting people from those communities we are working with. This is important in order to have the better information from the beneficiaries.
We need to take into consideration their interests, and of course, apart from that, we need to think about the experience of our volunteers or whoever involved in the project, because not only beneficiaries who are taking some advantages, but also people who work with them, because if they know how to provide the cool stuff, they need to also get great experience in this.
The importance to have organization policy is it provides guidance and clarity on how organization operates. So number one, safeguarding policy for children and vulnerable adults. This policy is the commitment to safeguard the children and vulnerable adults from abuse, discrimination, and harm of any kind to create a safe environment within the organization. Number two, equal opportunity policy, concept that address unequal power relation between women and men and between different social intersectional groups. It focuses on the need for action to be taken to rebalance those unequal power relations and ensure equal rights, opportunity, and respect for all the individuals regardless of their identity. So number three, data protection policy. Since WHR works with vulnerable group, it is our duty to protect the personal information and maintain the confidentiality of our beneficiary. And this policy is the commitment to protect those information. And number four, integrity policy and code of conduct. Everyone associated with WHR must follow a code of professionalism and personal ethics in keeping with the value of the organization.
Volunteering is about giving and receiving, teaching and learning, sharing and discovering. And hence the role of the mentor is to support an individual in their personal and professional development, assisting them to understand, to realize, to reflect on the experiences that they have, and help them to be applicable in their future life as humans and as professionals. We have multiple different techniques and methods that we use to help our volunteers and to make their volunteering process more enjoyable. One of these practices is the use of learning plans and learning diaries. These are facilitated processes that are happening in combination with mentor and the project coordinator to help set learning goals, reflect on them, and realize what a huge progress we have made so far. I think the first rule for good mentoring is communication. Communication is the key to build trust and to be able to speak about any experience without judgment and with open and free mind. Another important aspect of good mentoring is support and encouragement to own initiatives of volunteers. Volunteers are very different people and each of them have something valuable to offer. The role of the mentor here is to help them to open up and to bring their initiatives to life. Mentor should remain neutral and objective because in some certain situations they might be in the role of a moderator and they should be able to keep their objectivity and open mind. A good mentor is somebody with certain kind of learned wisdom, with experience and life and work experience that can be applicable in a certain situation in specific project for the volunteer.
Of course, first and foremost, it needs a good team that has good communication, good understanding, like open and transparent relationship between each other. Another thing that is hugely important is partners, where the volunteer is coming from. On the other hand, also you have the logistics, starting from the arrival of the volunteer, preparation for its arrival, getting the visa, then putting an effort into making a very nice, safe environment for the volunteer to come in. The first and foremost is a nice welcome and introduction of the premises and the office, and also the people that are doing in their jobs and tasks, and who they can come to with whatever need that might arise or come forward during their volunteering experience, explaining all the activities that will happen during the project. It requires a lot of patience to be inventive and innovative in the ways that you talk, you transfer the things that you want for them to accomplish, and to actually see and talk to them in the most open and candid way that is possible. Establishing a real connection, hopefully maybe something longer and meaningful and lasting beyond the volunteering experience. Crucial thing that should be mentioned in the management of the deployment, it's the motivation, sparkling interest in volunteers. You need to be very resourceful, very human in the way that you talk to volunteers.
We have an employee who is responsible for all security matters in case we have any measures or any accidents that happens in this field. So when we have an emergency here, as we did in Beirut Blast, the first thing is to keep our staff safe. So we went really under our desks, and once everybody felt that the threat is no more real here, we took the stairs and we evacuate our offices. This is what really happens with us in the Beirut Blast. So for the emergency cases, especially in our offices, this is our mini emergency plan to do and to apply in any emergency case that happens in our country.
Capacity building training. What have you learned from CBTs? Yes, please.
I never realized how standards are important while working with volunteers, but because of TEHV project, I realized that the standards and the all staff will prepare for the project or volunteers, like upcoming volunteers, we provide a sufficient and safety environment for all who are involved in the project.
EU Volunteer Aid Certification Program itself was very new to us, and the process was complicated too. I personally don't think without the support of this project, WHI could have got the certification in its first try. Mentors were available whenever we needed them. New possibilities of partnership are beyond this project.
I found it really helpful, all the, let's say, materials that we got and how it was done, all very nicely structured, which I personally really like, as well as the ideas and the practices that were shared from multiple organizations around the world. You know, it comes from a completely different angle when someone actually working in India or anywhere, Nepal or Cambodia or whatever, speaking and telling you how they do and what do they do when it comes to volunteering management, and that for me it was quite impressive.
The project towards effective humanitarian volunteering has been supportive and effective in multiple ways. One of such examples is our policy to work with children and vulnerable adults. Currently, we are undergoing an assessment as an organization to be able to work with children and adolescents at the international level, and our local development partners appreciate very much the type and the quality of policies that we have developed, most of all through this project support.
Capacity building trainings were useful and made us rethink our work with volunteers. We had an opportunity to align our policies to EU standards. And as a final result, we got certificate issued by European Commission. This process was intense and rewarding.